Hello and welcome everyone again into another video. And today's video, I'll be talking about the top teams in the Open Ultra League Season 17's, what do you call it? Timeless travel or something? Yeah, I think it's traveling through time or something. I call it Season 17, regardless of the name. So, it's Open Ultra League, the second week. Hopefully it's not Master League and I didn't record the wrong video. Okay, so Open Ultra League is a league where legendaries are very dominant. Not just legendaries, XLs. So it's in 2500 CP max. Like, that's the Pokemons where you'll be able to use legendaries. XLs are like the most dominant. Except for like two Pokemons where like the only exception like that aren't legendaries or XL, I think, is Swampert. That's pretty much it. Now someone would like pull some Pokemon that I've seen once, like, oh no, yeah, so this Pokemon is meta and it's non-XL or non-legendary, like some skill-rich Pokemon. You could use them, but like the dominant ones, the ones that people are trying to either use or to counter, are like either XLs or legendaries. Open Ultra League is used to be one of the most consistent leagues until last season when they buffed they buffed Steelix for no freaking reason. And then they destroyed it. It became one of the worst leagues. It used to be like the most consistent league. The league where like the casuals usually even play, because it's just like it has been the same meta since season 1. Cresselia, Registeel, Giratina, Clefable, Swampert, like Talonflame and Obstagoon. Just like these 5 Pokemons for like since forever. But last season they buffed Steelix without any obvious reason. The Pokemon was already good. They just made it too OP. And this season they removed the Breaking Swipe from being guaranteed debuff into like a 50% chance, I think, to debuff. So how did that affect the meta? So if we look at the PvPoke, the best website in the game, the PvPoke ranking, and you could see that the number 1 Pokemon is Registeel. Registeel has been actually number 1 in the Ultra League since forever. Number 2 is Giratina. Giratina has always been in the top 3. Then what changed the asset? Well, look at number 3. If you look at number 3, chat, it is a Pokemon that we've never seen before. Well, technically, it existed back in Season 2. It's Poliwrath. Why Poliwrath? 2 reasons. 1, Poliwrath get counter in its community day, and counter is the best offensive fast move in the game. 2, it got Scald. 3, Scald get a buff. 4, Scald get buffed again. So it feels like they want Poliwrath to be good, and they keep buffing it to the point where like Poliwrath is now actually scary. It has Icy Wind and Scald and counter. Scald is amazing. Icy Wind is one of the best debuff charge moves, like a debuff move that actually does damage. Usually debuff moves do not do damage. And counter, the best offensive fast move. And if you have Shadow Poliwrath, I will do the Shadow. Why? Because the Pokemon is just bulky, too bulky. And usually Shadow Pokemons help bulky Pokemons more than frail Pokemons. Because with frail Pokemons, you risk too much stat product to just run the Shadow. While like with bulky Pokemons, you lose some bulk, but you already have lots of bulk to get some extra damage. Zygarde is number 4. Yasser, who has Zygarde? You will see who has Zygarde. You will queue into some Zygarde in the Ultra League. Why Zygarde is unique? Because Zygarde has some massive bulk, and it has decent charge move coverage. It has Crunch, EQ, and Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail is an amazing fast move. Crunch is a good charge move that debuff, and EQ is solid. Cresselia has always been within the top 5. Mandibuzz used to be bad. I think this season Mandibuzz is good because Poliwrath and Giratina are better due to Steelix nerf made Giratina better. So which mean we also see Poliwrath, which mean Mandibuzz is coming back. The problem with Mandibuzz is that you just lose pretty hard to Registeel. I don't think you even beat Poliwrath, to be honest, because Poliwrath has counter, which is neutral, and has Icy Wind, which is super effective, so you can just shield and just keep throwing Icy Winds. Virizion used to be one of the best 3 Pokemons last rotation. I think it's still decent. Pidgeot, please don't run Pidgeot. Learn how to play the game instead of just debuffing your opponent and throwing fairy dances. Shadow Poliwrath, amazing. Registeel Shadow, I wouldn't run Shadow Registeel. But you just said, Yasser, if the Pokemon is bulky, you would prefer it to be Shadow. Yes, usually if it's bulky and it has a fast move that does damage. Registeel's fast move doesn't know damage. Tapu Fini is a solid legendary that you could use in the Ultra League, but to be honest, it always end up being an underwhelming legendary because the fast move pressure is not enough and the charge move is not the best of charge moves. So Surf is not as good as Hydro Cannon, where there are some Pokemon that has Hydro Cannon, right? Now we are in the meta where everything debuffs, so you would rather have something like Liquidation. So that's why you run not Scolipede. It looks like a Scolipede, but like it's like Scolipede, you know, like this shape, like this shape. This thing has like S shape. What's the name of it? No, not Toxapex. This Pokemon. Bro, I used it for 3 seasons so far and I can't even remember the name. No, not Toxapex. I feel like it has a Pex. Oh, Gliscopod. Yes, Gliscopod. Gliscopod doesn't have X, Yasser. You can say Exilobod, I guess. And Gliscor. Gliscor is actually not a good Pokemon, but I love using the Gliscor in the Ultra League because this Pokemon hit everything in the Ultra League. Like, let's say they lead Giratina. You have Night Slash. They have Registeel. You have EQ. They have Poryrat. You have Wing Attack. They have Cresselia. You have Night Slash. They have Walrein, you can top left. They have Ampharos, you can hit it with EQ. They have Obstagoon, you can hit it with a real Ace Wing Attack. So this Pokemon has play against the entire meta. You can choose whatever fast move you want to, charge move you want to run, and you can hit the entire meta. So as always, I've divided this meta into good lead, good safe swap, generalist, which are good everywhere. Good leads, Pokemons that have a baiting move and a decent fast move pressure. Stuff like Talonflame with the recent buff to Fly. Well, Fly is already an amazing charge move. Talonflame now has Fly, so you don't have to risk throwing a Brave Bird. But you can still run Brave Bird, by the way. But I wouldn't, because I am a streamer, so the moment I run Fly, all my opponents who watch my videos will know I don't run Brave Bird, or if I run it, they will shield. If I don't run it, they will know I don't run it. So it's not as a privilege as to non-streamers who actually, you can sometimes play around your moveset. I can't. Sometimes I just wish I can just play off stream. But to be honest, I would rather play on stream so I can have fun with my chat. Pidgeot is another example of a good lead, a Pokemon that has decent fast move pressure and charge move coverage like a Nuke and a bait. The problem with Pidgeot is a one-dimensional Pokemon. If you have a good lead, you pretty much win. If you have a bad lead, you have to swap out. Like there's no other options. Stuff like Staraptor might be better because Staraptor has a close combat, so you can close combat the Steel, while Pidgeot cannot close combat. So if you have a Shadow Staraptor, you can close combat the Registeel, and I think Staraptor has Sky Attack. I'm not sure if it has Fly, but yes, I think I didn't include Staraptor, but I will definitely be giving it a try. Trevenant is not as good, but the thing about Trevenant is that so many water Pokemons get buffed. You know what that means? Grass is good, but the problem is Grass doesn't have that good of a coverage. But you know who has decent coverage? Trevenant. Yes, you can try it and sneak. You will see lots of this thing or this thing, and you can destroy both. Now moving into good safe swaps. Safe swaps are generally Pokemons that do like some charge move damage, and the ultimate safe swap Pokemon in the Ultra League right now is Drapion, Shadow Drapion. Okay, don't be like, oh yes, I have non-Shadow. No, non-Shadow is bad. Don't use it. Well, you could use it if you want. It's your dust, it's your resources. But if you want my advice, I would rather build rank 500, 600 PvP IV Shadow over rank 1 non-Shadow. That's how much like Shadow is better than non-Shadow. Jellicent is the ultimate and the ideal safe swap in this cup because you pretty much have a move to hit everything. Now with the access to Surf, pretty much Mandibuzz just destroys it, but hey, it has decent coverage. Greedent shined last season and the season before. I think it will still be good. Coffin is kind of dead, but I think it still has a decent play because if you hit Virizion, Steelix, and Giratina and Cresselia with super effective charge move, and they are like 80% of the meta. Walrein is a budget option you could use. You need the Shadow, by the way. After the nerf to Icicle Speed, you need the Shadow. The non-Shadow is just underwhelming. Shadow Snorlax is like probably the best budget Pokemon. No, I would say Charizard is still the best budget Pokemon. A Pokemon that's not XL and not legendary, Charizard, the Shadow is the best. What about Polyrath? Polyrath is not XL. Well, you could choose to XL it if you have a better IV. And I think I talked about all of these Pokemons. Some other options. What is the Swampert? Swampert is a spicy Pokemon, by the way, now. After 17 seasons of dominating the Ultra League, Swampert now is a spicy. Sylveon is a good option, by the way. Skunk is amazing. I love using Skunk. Nidoqueen isn't bad. I lost to freaking get a Karcham wall, like, every time I play him in Ultra because he always has an Nidoqueen. And I'm always weak to Nidoqueen in the back. Didi has a decent play. Como has a decent play. So now we talked about the Pokemons. Let's talk about the top teams. If you want to go and build a team in the Ultra League and you choose to use a team around the best Pokemon, which is Registeel, PvPoke will suggest Zygarde and Cresselia. Zygarde as a coverage to Registeel, and Cresselia as a third, to just make a team that is balanced. So what's the unique thing about this team? You're just using 3 Omega dominant Pokemons and Omega bulky Pokemons, so just like gonna outbulk your opponent, probably gonna time them out. But is this a good team? Probably not, to be honest, because usually those teams do well against the entire meta. The problem is people only run 10 to 15 Pokemons, so for that, you use top 3 PvPoke team, which is something we are known for. This channel is known for running the top 3 Pokemons on PvPoke. And if you look at the top ranking, number 1 Registeel, number 2 Giratina, number 3 is Polyrath. I choose to run the Shadow. Why? The team is too bulky. You need some that fast move pressure. So Polyrath, probably the best bet with this team. Are you going to be running this? Yeah, no, I actually won't be running this team because I have my own team, which I will be running tomorrow on my live stream at twitch.tv/YesElite. Friday, either 7 p.m. Central Time. 7 or 8, I think 8 p.m. Central Time. So make sure to tune in if you have the time, so you can see like some battles. You're probably either gonna copy a team I'm using or copy the an opponent team you will like, stuff like that. You don't have to risk playing when you can just watch someone else losing, right? The team I will actually be testing out is Clefable. Clefable didn't get above this season, but my Clefable get above. What about your Clefable? I don't know, because I used to have a Hundo Clefable and I get a rank 2 Clefable, so I just use the rank 2, which is decent. It flips the Greedent and the Jellicent matchup if you have a rank 1 or 2. Tenta, which get a massive bulk. Scald now has a higher chance to debuff. Polyrath, the Shadow, which gets so many buffs, has counter, has a Scald with a higher chance to debuff, and Icy Wind with a massive chance to debuff, 100%. Some teams that I ran in the past. Okay, now we are stuck with some ads. So sorry guys, I don't have YouTube Premium, so you guys are gonna hit some YouTube ads. My go-to team, it's a team that I've always ran, which is Dragonite with Tapu Fini. I always change the third. The third used to be Jellicent, used to be Cobalion, and last season it was Golisopod, but this season I will try to fit in Mr. Tentacruel into this team. I have so many videos about this team. You can check this team. Shadow Dragonite is OP in the Ultra League. 22-3 with my favorite Ultra League core. There's lots of views on this one. So what's the thing? I always run Dragonite because Dragonite is just a very... It helps to snowball the entire game. If you win the lead, there is no way you will give the opponent a chance to recover because they will get massive hits by Shadow Dragon Breath, which does lots of damage. One mistake and they probably lose the game. How am I gonna adjust Tenta? Well, I will try to fit in Tenta here, then see the difference, then which one is better, then make a YouTube video probably about it. So yeah, you're not gonna miss anything out, because if you miss the live stream, there is always a chance that I will be posting it on YouTube. Gliscor Chad. This team is basically Gliscor with Registeel, is one of the most underrated codes. I wouldn't say underrated because Registeel is everywhere, but the Gliscor makes a perfect code with this, and the only Pokemon that they lose to is a Swampert, and Swampert is dead. What about the Greninja? Well, you can hit Greninja here. You hit the Greninja here with super effective, and you probably need a Greninja answer in the back. I used to run Tapu Fini, then Golisopod, and now I think Tenta is actually a good third. People forget how dominant this Pokemon is. That's the title of the video about this team if you want to go back and check the team. Now, here is the thing. The Matbeer team, which is the Polyrath Double Poison Dark. I think you can replace one of the Poison Darks with a Tenta and you should be good. The problem with it is Charizard is just tough to beat with this team, so that's why I think Tenta would make a better fit than Skunk. But don't quote me on this, because Matt Beer played this team and he hit Legend during Ultra League, literally the second week of the season last season with this team. Hopefully I can get some footage, and if he hit Legend, I will ask him to send me the battles. But yeah, he literally hit Legend last season within the second week. You know, like the second week that's gonna start in a couple days. Yes, that's when he hit Legend with this team. Best performing team from last season was actually Alolan Sand / Shadow, Tapu Fini, Golisopod. The season before, it used to be Jelly, then Golisopod. Now I think Tenta can find a place there somewhere. You could put Tenta here because you technically have one answer, two answers to Giratina, and then you don't need that many answers to Giratina. BBML in this team, like, remember how last season it used to be Virizion with Steelix and Giratina, or Greedent, or Jelly, or Golisopod? One of those four, you pick one and you still can choose it. You could replace either of those four with also Poliwrath, and you should be having a good team. The team I said I will be running last season, and I think I ran for a couple days, which is Virizion with Greedent and Tapu in the back. The problem with this team, I had some difficulties against Steel in the back, because usually when you run Virizion and they have a Charizard in the lead, you're just going to get RPS'd. So I don't want to make like a very long video, because like there is so many teams I would like to talk about, but I think I'm running out of time, because let me see. This team from Home Slice really deserve a mention, because I'm expecting lots of Poliwrath. So technically this is an ABB team. So if you don't see a Poliwrath in the lead, you're eventually going to swap out to Snorlax to beat out the Poliwrath, and then you have Deoxys Defense to beat it. An anti-Steelix team, Gliscor, Cobalion. The Gliscor Cobalion is a decent core. The different than with Registeel is that with this, you have a very dominant matchup against Greninja swap in, because Registeel struggles to beat Greninja in the two, because Greninja is just gonna spam Hydro Cannons. And then you have Jellicent just as a coverage. You could literally get rid of this and add some Tapu Fini if you want, or Tentacruel actually. So yeah, if you add Tenta here, you will have 3 accessible Pokemons, because with Cobalion you just need any IV. You don't need to be picky with Cobalion. In fact, if you have high attack Cobalion, you win CMP against Virizion, because most of the Virizion are traded IV, and you win CMP against Walrein. A team that's worth mentioning, I used to play in the past, Como with Registeel and Jelly, and again, there is a chance that I will be just throwing a Tenta instead of Jelly and get a decent team. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for all the people who have been watching and made it this far. Appreciate all the love, and thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure you leave a like on your channel, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Peace.